Thank you for joining us for another episode of Faith on the Line. This is, again, UFC of religion. Bring it on, man. We're like Boyce Gracie, just choking people out.
I felt like I got good tombstone pile driver choke slam through a table today when I was talking to the Tanakh Talk people about you. Once you got mentioned, man, I was nailed to the cross, basically. That was rough, man.
Player, if you don't know, now you know. Now you know you can't just go around mentioning Rabbi Asher Meza without people losing their mind. Not because they're actually angry, but because they're actually scared. That's the way it is. Yeah, well, heck, all these people used to be Christian. What happened to all the kindness, putting yourself in other people's shoes, being dan lechav zchut, giving the other person the benefit of the doubt? And heck, I do that all day long. I'm overly critical of myself to make sure that I'm not disagreeing with an ideology for no reason. But yeah, these people are very mean. They're very, can we say, un-Christ-like. But
Yeah.
just speaking of being un-Christ-like, I saw half of the debate, probably more than half, 3/4 of the debate between Shmuley Boteach and
You enjoyed it?
Brown. I did not, and I think that Michael Brown was right and Shmuley Boteach was wrong.
Ooh.
Because they're not discussing who the Messiah is or anything like that. They're discussing, is the New Testament anti-Semitic? I don't know what Shmuley Boteach was there to do. He just seemed like an angry old man, but he not angry in the sense that he's very charming, he's very funny.
You don't think he was articulate?
Could be articulate and still not know the material well enough to put up a good defense or a good offense. All right. Yeah, like he speaks well, but at the end of the day, there's no substance to what he's saying. Michael Brown's opinion or position is that the New Testament doesn't do anything that Tanakh doesn't do to Israel. If Israel is going astray, God sends prophets to chastise, to bring Israel back to Torah. And that's what Michael Brown is saying the New Testament is doing. It makes sense, right?
Not really.
The early followers of JC were Jewish. I mean, how could it be anti-Semitic if it's a Jewish book?
Well, you don't agree with the Rabbi Shmuley saying that it was from a position of leading people away and starting a new religion, and
oh, that's not
to bring back the
anti-Semitic.
Torah.
I didn't even hear him make that statement. Again, I didn't finish the whole.
He did bring up that Christianity their position is to replace the Jewish people. The Christians are to replace us.
That wasn't the argument. The argument was, is the New Testament anti-Semitic? I mean, not is Christianity a different religion, or is it pulling people away from Torah observance? I mean, if that was the argument, then I would agree with Shmuley Boteach, but that wasn't what the debate was about. It's like me saying that people who attack me in the Jewish world are anti-Semitic. Okay, yes, technically, if you're attacking or insulting one Semite, that makes you an anti-Semite to some extent, but that doesn't mean that you're warring against the Jewish people.
Yeah, but they don't want to get rid of you as being Jewish, though. That's the thing. I mean, sure, they might attack your position or your stance.
Yeah, but that's Christianity, not the New Testament. But the argument is the New Testament anti-Semitic? That's what they were debating. Not is Christianity anti-Semitic. For sure, even Michael Brown.
Oh, I see. You're saying you can separate the book from theology that it may espouse. Is that like what you're getting?
That's what Michael Brown was talking about. That's what the debate was about. Actual verses and chapters in the New Testament. If they're targeting Jews in Israel for, I guess, annihilation, it just seems like Shmuley just showed up to hear the sound of his voice. He didn't really have anything intelligent to say. For someone who wrote a book called Kosher Jesus, how is he now going to say that the teachings of this Jewish false Messiah are anti-Jewish? It just doesn't make any sense. I clearly agree with Shmuley Boteach. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but we have to call things what they are. I think it was a waste of a debate. I think anyone who supported Shmuley Boteach over Michael Brown on this discussion was just doing it because they disliked Christianity, not because it made any sense.
So does the New Testament portray the Jewish people in a positive light or a negative light or neutral?
It depends. It portrays Jewish people who don't believe in JC in a bad light.
Oh, sure. Right. That goes without saying.
Right. And it portrays people who believe in JC, mainly Jewish, right? I mean, for sure, virtually everyone in the Gospels who believed in JC, outside of the centurion and the handful of Gentiles that were there, it portrayed them great. So how is it specifically anti-Semitic? The movie took place in Judea, Samaria, in Jewish lands that where the actors in the New Testament were Jewish. Didn't make too much sense to me. I'm not sure what they were arguing.
Well, I can speak from a position when I was a Christian that I always felt like the Jews were the bad people, and I kind of got the feeling that the Jews were.
The difference with Catholicism and traditional Protestantism is that, first of all, Catholics teach that they have replaced Jews. They believe in replacing.
They're the true Jews. Yeah.
Right. While most Protestants don't believe that. Protestants really try to view the New Testament with Semitic lenses to some extent, whether you're Messianic or you're Baptist, right? You acknowledge that the Jewish people are still the Jewish people and Gentiles have in some way been grafted in. But in other words, yeah, I mean, Catholicism is in a completely different camp. But
I heard something that the person I was speaking to in Tanakh Talk forums actually said something opposite, and I wanted to bring it up, and I'm glad you mentioned it, that she was saying that converts are just from bad Jews are descended from converts, and I wanted to pick your brain on that on this statement.
I think she means the Erev Rav. That's what's typically taught. I remember when I was living in Israel, Ehud Omer was he was doing something that benefited the Arabs over the Jews, and everyone says, "Oh, he's part of the Erev Rav."
Who was this particular person?
Ehud Omer was the prime minister of Israel for.
Oh, okay.
Time. But yeah, they'll call you a Molech, they'll call you Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, because the understanding is, according to a handful of Midrashim, the mixed multitude, after they converted, they reverted back to idolatry and were in some way insincere converts, that God told Moses not to convert them in Egypt. There's another Midrash that teaches the opposite. It teaches that they were great individuals, that they followed the Jewish people outside of Mitzrayim because they were so special, not because they were so evil or they were hell-bent on their destruction. Right? And there's Midrashim that say, and virtually whenever the Jews sinned in Bamidbar,
the golden calf was,
yeah. So that's probably what she meant. If she's a student of Tanakh Talk, I'm pretty sure she doesn't have all her facts straight on things anyways. So
she's a fry short of a Happy Meal, that's for sure, but it is what it is.
No, I'm pretty sure almost every Jew would acknowledge that converts hold a special place amongst the Jewish people. The question is, who do they accept as a convert? Not that they over-embellish converts, right? So
what does it mean to be a true convert, a true Jew? Just someone that toes the line and just goes with the status quo and worships rabbis?
No, according to halakha, there's no such thing as a true convert, fake convert.
Well, I'm saying from their perspective. We know the halakha, but from their perspective, is what do they?
A true convert for them is someone that they accept perform the conversion. All right, that's why they're always asking, like, who converted you? Like, first of all, no rabbi converts anyone. That line of talk doesn't exist in halakha. I mean, in modern day colloquial speech it does, but not in Talmudic speech. Converted you. I mean, people pretty much convert themselves. The witnesses, all they do is witness you go down in the mikvah. That's it.
That's interesting. So these people are what the problem is, it seems like that these people are still stuck in their Christianity. They still have a Christian perspective of what the Torah means.
No. It's because they have bad teachers. That's all it is.
Bad teachers.
All right. Also, as Christians, they remained Christian because they had bad teachers also.